Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Cooper, do you have an IT background, or do you consider yourself to be an expert in the IT field?
No, I do not consider myself to be an expert.
Do you think the State Department should have had someone more qualified than you to oversee and protect Secretary Clinton's server from hackers?
I was not working for the State Department, and I believe this server to be, again, it was primarily used by President Clinton's office. Secretary Clinton had what I believe was a personal account on that server. I can't, I'm not in a position to talk about what the role of the government is in protecting that sort of information.
On Sunday, January 9th, 2011, at 2:57 a.m., 2:57 in the morning, you sent an email to Secretary Clinton's top aide, Huma Abedin, explaining that you had to shut down Secretary Clinton's server due to someone trying to hack it. How many times did you personally have to shut down the server to prevent it from being hacked?
Again, it's the server that contained both Secretary Clinton's and also President Clinton's office on there. This was a series of failed logon attempts, which were brought to my attention by alert we had on the system. One of the ways to stop that in the early operations of the server was to shut down the server for a period of time so that the attacks would cease. We would then, over time, develop more sophisticated ways, which the direction of Mr. Pagliano, to help to filter those sorts of failed login attempts.
Do you know whether powering down a server is the typical way in the IT community to protect against hacks?
I can't speak to that.
Do you know what a brute force attack is?
Yes, a brute force attack, from my understanding, is a series of high-frequency failed login or attempted logins using a variety of usernames and passwords.
How many brute force attacks did you observe in the Clintons on the Clinton server?
I can't say with any specificity how many had happened. They happened with some limited frequency over the period of, I'd say, the last 2.5 years while she was in office. But we had developed systems to tamper these down.
They occurred with frequency?
Some frequency.
All right. I yield my remaining time back to the chairman.
Mr. Cooper, how many people had access to this server?
In terms of as administrators?
I want the whole universe. Administrators, users, the whole bit, the whole gambit.
There were 2 people who had some administrative rights, myself and Mr. Pagliano. I can't, off the top of my head, tell you exactly how many users there were over the lifetime of the server, but it was less than 20 people.
Was there remote access login available?
The only remote access login to the server was for myself and Mr. Pagliano.
Was it encrypted?
I can't speak to that. I can't recall.
So you're running it. You don't even know if it's encrypted?
Mr. Pagliano was running it. I was using it.
Did it have dual authentication?
I don't recall dual authentication.
So there's no dual authentication. We're not sure it has encryption. It does have remote access. You have some 20-odd people that can do it. It's intermingled with the Clinton Foundation. Clinton Executive Services, was it also have access to that?
I can't say it's intermingled with the Clinton Foundation, Clinton Executive Services.
You're being paid by them, right? There were people being paid by Clinton Foundation that were accessing and using the system, right?
In part, there were individuals who had multiple job responsibilities for multiple entities within the Clinton world, and some people did do work for the Clinton Foundation, yes.
So did the State Department ever contact you or complain or issue any sort of concern?
No, I did not have any concern or...
Mr. Chairman, I have one more question.
Yes, Mr. Duncan.
Mr. Cooper, I understand that in order to make Secretary Clinton's private insecure email server connect with the State Department's much more secure server, the State Department had to lower its own security settings, at least temporarily, to match Secretary Clinton's more insecure security server. Do you know about that? The fact that she had this insecure server?
That is not something I specifically know about it. I've read accounts of that in the media, but I have no direct knowledge of that.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll now recognize the gentleman.